No such statement that we will refuse to follow the court's instructions. And you are correct in what you say, that Israel was one of the first countries to join the Genocide Convention precisely because our people were the victims of genocide. In fact, of the 17 justices on the court, there's only one who is actually a survivor of genocide, and that is the Israeli justice, Aaron Barak, who himself was a child and managed to survive the Holocaust. And so this is a very, very dear and close issue for Israelis, the whole issue of genocide. But what is preposterous, what is obscene, if you don't mind me saying, is South Africans' manipulation of the Genocide Convention to serve Hamas's interests. And of course, Hamas, which, if you read its charter, openly declares that every Israeli, every Jew should be killed, and they are a self-professed genocidal organization. And here you have an inversion of reality where a genocidal terrorist organization, and we all saw the sort of horrific violence they were capable of on October 7th, this is being defended, so to speak, under this convention that was designed to prevent genocide. It is an inversion of reality, an inversion of truth, an inversion of justice.
Mr. Regev, two of the key words when you look at the Geneva Conventions and the rules around armed conflict are around distinction and proportionality, a state distincting between legitimate military targets and civilians and a proportionate response to self-defence. And when you look at the numbers, of course, those attacks of October the 7th were horrific. More than 1,000 Israelis lost their lives. You still have people who are being held hostage, which is illegal under international law. But in the meantime, 25,900 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, in some instances in areas where they have been told to evacuate to because it would be safer for them. Do you think Israel is acting with those two words, distinction and proportionality, in mind?
100%. Our response is in accordance with international law. And you quote numbers for fatalities, and many people do, but those numbers are provided by the Hamas terrorist organization and its infrastructure in Gaza. It's the Hamas-controlled health ministry. And the justices themselves, in their decision, the president of the court stated clearly that there is no way to verify these numbers. And we don't know how many of them are combatants. We are sure in Israel that a large proportion of them are combatants and therefore legitimate targets for Israel's military operation. Of course, we face a very difficult situation in Gaza where the Hamas terror organization uses Gaza's civilians as shields for its terror machine, and therefore they've embedded themselves as part of their strategy in schools, in hospitals, repeatedly in hospitals, that's been documented, even in UN facilities, under urban neighborhoods. This is an organization that commits a double war crime. Not only does it attack and kill Israelis, either in the massacre of October 7th or in the repeated launch of rockets into Israeli cities, but they commit a second war crime by deliberately, against the rules of armed conflict, against international law, they deliberately use Gazan civilians as a human shield for their war machine, the second war crime.
OK, Mark Regev, Senior Advisor to the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Mr. Regev, thank you as always for making the time for us.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Well, let's